What about Anusim? And that they are using DNA and looking up genealogy of the past generation, but have no real proof that they are hidden Jews. What do the main poskim say on this? There is no main poskim, there is all of the poskim. All of the poskim that are real poskim, that the world considers as real poskim, throughout all of the generations, will tell you you cannot determine somebody's Jewish status based on their DNA for multiple reasons. Number one, because there is technology available today to alter a DNA. So anyone can have a DNA test, and that DNA test can be altered. I know that many people don't know this. They think, wow, DNA, that's... No, you can alter a DNA. Okay, that's number one. For criminal purposes, for other purposes, and so on. Second of all, that's not what the halacha says. The halacha does not say that you can prove somebody's Judaism based on DNA. The way that you prove somebody's Judaism is either based on who their mother is and her mother is and so on, their lineage. It has to come from the mother, not the father. According to our Torah, you have to, if your mother is Jewish, halachically Jewish because her mother is Jewish, and it goes all the way back to the original source of Judaism, then you are Jewish, no matter what your father is. Your father could be a non-Jew, a Jew, it could be a donkey, it could be a chandelier, doesn't make a difference. Your mother is Jewish, you're Jewish. That's option number one. Option number two is you convert to Judaism. If you go to a bet din, a kosher bet din, an Orthodox bet din, where all of the dayanim are Orthodox, meaning if you have one Orthodox rabbi and two reformers, or two atheists, or two missionary Christians, or something like that, then obviously you don't have a bet din. It has to be kosher dayanim, three kosher rabbis. There's obviously one main one that has to be beki b'halacha. The other two should just be kosher Jews, but or they could be dayanim, obviously. But the point being is that it has to be an Orthodox bet din that goes through a legitimate conversion process, which means that a person has to to accept all of the mitzvot of the Torah at that moment. They have to accept on themselves Shabbat, to forsake idolatry, the kosher laws, modesty, and so on and so forth. They have to accept the old Torah on themselves, what the stuff they know and the stuff that they don't know. They have to accept everything on themselves. They have to, if they're male, they have to be circumcised with a kosher circumcision, and they have to dip in a mikveh. If they're female, there's no circumcision. She dips in a mikveh when she doesn't have the monthly cycle, and that's it. They become Jewish, and they observe the mitzvot. But if a person wants to say, oh, my ancestors, my grandmother's cousins, aunt, uncle, they are all from, the Spanish Inquisition, we're the Anusim, we accepted, we read these books, we saw these TV shows, we saw on Discovery Channel, we have a cousin and his aunt and his grandmother and their neighbor all agreed that we all come from that particular nightmare that happened over there. Great, that's all fantastic. Thank you very much for the story. We appreciate it. That's not Jewish law. Jewish law does not work on stories. Doesn't work that way. You could be Jewish either because you have proof that your mother is Jewish, not by DNA, by the way there's actual documentation that proves that they're Jewish, the birth certificate, the synagogue that they were part of, and so on and so forth, or you convert to Judaism. The truth is, even if somebody has documented proofs, including a DNA test that's useless altogether, and they go to a real bet din in Eretz Israel or otherwise, it's a real bet din, that's a recognized bet din. They say, listen, what do you think? You accept my Judaism? They tell you, listen, I accept or don't accept, doesn't really make up a difference. But society is not going to accept it. Community is not going to accept it. And the truth is, even if they accept it today, they may not accept your kids in the future. Bottom line is, you need to do at the very least, giyur safek. What's a giyur safek? It's a conversion, same thing like a regular conversion, to eliminate the doubt. Meaning that if you really are Jewish based on all of this documentation that you have, then the conversion is nothing. It counts for nothing. It's just to eliminate the doubt that anybody else would have. But if you really aren't Jewish, then now you are Jewish after this conversion. But either way, you'll have to do the conversion. Anyone that's trying to dodge the conversion is a person that is a problem. And those problem types of people either eventually break and they eventually cave in and they realize that they have to convert, or they just continue being a problem and fulfill what the Gemara says about problem converts are considered like a skin disease for Am Yisrael. So it's important for a person to know whether they have documents or they don't have documents. In most cases today, unless you have a proof of lineage that is direct, that is, that's no indisputable, that I'm not talking about 500 years ago, I'm talking about your mother, your grandmother, and so on and so forth. You have proof that these people are Jewish, you're going to have to go through a conversion. You're going to have to go through a conversion. If you don't want to go through a conversion, then that means you don't want to be Jewish. Why? Because the conversion, whether you're Jewish or not Jewish, is simply stating the obvious of things that you need to do anyway. Which means that if you really want to be Jewish, it doesn't really make a difference how you get to that point. Meaning whether you're going to go through the conversion or you're or otherwise, that shouldn't bother you. Why? Because all the things you need to do are the same thing. Oh no, but it's insulting that if I'm really Jewish to go through conversion. Why is it insulting? It actually shows that you're clueless about what converts are. Anybody that thinks it's insulting for them to go through a giyur, through a conversion, shows that really they're probably not Jewish. Or they're just clueless. Or both. Why? Because if you really aren't Jewish, then of course you need to eliminate that doubt. And you know that the significance of how important it is for a person to not be intermarried. Now, if you are Jewish, then you should be happy that the Jewish world is strong enough and strict enough to force people to confirm their Judaism in order to eliminate any doubts that are people can't see, and in order to make sure that the kids turn out Jewish. And either way, if you are going to end up being a convert, a real convert, that means that you are actually considered higher than a natural born Jew according to the sages. According to the Torah, a convert is considered higher spiritually than a natural born Jew. So the point being is that all of these people that are trying to dodge this conversion and they go to all types of strange institutions that are really after them in one way or another. Either they're after them for their money, or they're after them for the social status and recognition, or simply to revolt. Like this one institution that has some people on there that are not exactly ideal types of rabbis. For some reason or another, they also put my shiurim, a couple of my shiurim on their website. I'm not really sure if I wanted to take it off or not, because on one end, even though I know there are a few reshaim that are part of this organization, I figured it may be better for people to actually see the couple of videos they have of mine on the website, because perhaps it's going to help those people that are really looking for the truth see the truth and do tshuva and leave this organization and actually learn real Torah. But on the other hand, it's important for people to know that anyone that is trying to help people avoid the traditional halachic system, which is to go to a recognized real bet din, to go through a conversion, either because it's necessary by default, because there's simply not enough proof for a person to be Jewish, or simply it's to eliminate a safek. Anyone that's helping you avoid that process or streamline that process that's not recognized by the great rabbis of Am Yisrael today and in past generations, that is a wicked organization. Stay away from them, because if you are part of them, you'll be punished with them. Just like Moshe Rabbeinu said to Am Yisrael, stay away from these wicked people. He was referring to Korach and his followers. Stay away from these wicked people, lest you be punished alongside with them, just for being next to them. So a person needs to know, if they really want to be Jewish, it doesn't matter where they came from. They could come from a world where they were Christian idol worshippers their whole life, and their father was a reverend and a priest. I actually have some students that, Baruch Hashem, they abandoned their father's church, and today are living as Jews, and having a Jewish family, Baruch Hashem, and actually got to the point where I think even the parents are no longer practicing Christians, or at least one of them, and I have several of those, that literally people that came from the church itself, not just people that were born Christians, but people that literally had a church, were a church family. After they recognized the truth, they abandoned everything, and Baruch Hashem, they're living as real Jews today. Some in Israel, some in America, some in England, some in different places, Baruch Hashem. But the key is to understand is that people that seek the truth and want the truth should not have any problem whatsoever with going through a conversion, a formal, real conversion to a real Beit Din, and simply go through whatever needs to happen in order to be Jews. But people that are trying to avoid that, streamline it, get some type of spiritual or financial discount in order to get a shortcut or some other form, these are problem people. These are problem people. If you understood the value of being a Jew, you would not be looking for a shortcut. You'd be willing to pay a premium. But unfortunately, many people are looking for all types of shortcuts, and every single one that I have ever met that went that route, that did not want to stick through the ride, did not want to go through the traditional system, and ended up going through some type of shortcut, Baruch Hashem, Hashem protected me from those people, but every single one of them has turned into a problem, has had problems. Some have done tshuva and came back, and I helped them. Some, unfortunately, are still living a problem. I could tell you stories from here to next year. I had a couple, Baruch Hashem, I inspired them, they were intermarried, inspired them to do tshuva. Baruch Hashem, I started helping them with guiding them to the conversion. One day, some wicked person ended up speaking to them and convincing them to do it differently, to do it faster, to do it this, to do it that. They ended up disconnecting from me, and they went a different route. I tried warning them, I tried talking to them, but unfortunately it was to no avail. Only a few years passed before we realized that there's a very serious problem. What's the serious problem? The problem is that the Beit Din that they went to, was a Beit Din of Christian missionaries, but they simply didn't know that there was Christian missionaries. Okay? One was a Jew, and two were complete goyim. This is, anybody who's been following our shulim for a long time knows the whole story from Arizona. So we had one person like this, one couple like this. Baruch Hashem, after that they did tshuva, got a real conversion. We helped them whatever we could, Baruch Hashem, and they're now living a perfectly Jewish life, Baruch Hashem. But only after a lot of pain that was unnecessary. Another one, we had a family, parent with a couple of kids we're helping them. They decide, no, they're going to go to some other rabbi that's going to that's going to streamline it, make it faster, make it this, make it that. He's been doing conversions for a long time. Okay, you want to do it, do it. Do whatever you want. I'm not going to stop anybody from doing whatever they want. I'm not getting paid for this anyway. Do whatever you want. I'm telling you, this is not the way. You don't want to do it, do what you want. They went that way, no problem. Still, whenever they wanted any guidance, I would help them whatever they want. What ended up happening? What ended up happening is that the daughter wanted to get married. She got to the guy's religious, she's religious, everybody's religious. They get to the final stage. The rabbis ask, okay, let us see your conversion papers. See the girl's conversion papers? We're sorry, we're not going to accept his conversion papers. Why not? It's a real rabbi, it's a real Beit Din. We're not going to accept these conversion papers. You have to convert again. And not only that, your family has to convert again. We have to make sure your whole family is real. So literally, they wouldn't marry the girl. Nice, young girl, everything is good, she's living a religious life. No one would marry her. No one would marry her. Even though the guy's ready, she's ready, everybody's ready. The rabbi said, you're not going to find. We're going to make sure nobody's going to marry you. With these conversion papers, no one's going to marry. Why? But the rabbi's been doing conversions for a long time. Doesn't make a difference. We have doubt about everything. We don't want it. No one's going to marry you. No one's going to do the wedding for you. You could go to Reform, but this guy's obviously frum. He's a Orthodox Jew. I think it was a Chabadnik even. Anyway, what happened? They literally had to go to the embarrassment and pain and expense and everything of the whole family has to be convinced to do the whole conversion again that already took place 3, 4, 5, 6 years before that. They already felt like they were Jewish already for 5 years. The whole thing all over again. And then they go, Rabbi, you were right. Okay, I was right. This is not, I'm not keeping count of how many times I'm right. I don't want to be right about these things, but unfortunately, I know. So they have to go through the whole thing all over again. And I have stories from here till next year. From here till next year about these stories with converts and so on. People don't understand. These Anusim, if you want to be Jewish, go to a real Jewish community with a real recognized Bet Din. Go to a recognized conversion, live a Jewish life, and the end. Stop it with this document searching, with this enlisting to all types of institutions that will help you find the documents or find a Bet Din that will accept your case, or waste your time and money and your brain power on all these theories about DNA and so on. It does not matter. You want to be a Jew? There's an easy way to do it, which is the halachic way. You want to do the other way? You're going to live a very, very difficult life. Why? Because there's an eye that's watching everything out there. And all of those people that go through these shortcuts end up paying 1,000-fold in pain. 1,000-fold in pain. I'm telling you just a couple of examples. Imagine you're converting. You got everything done through your some hobo over there in San Diego converted you. No one even knows who he is, bichlal. But he converted you and he says, listen, according to me, you're fine. According to our community, you're fine. Okay, you're fine. No one accepts this person, but you're fine according to him. One day you're a little daughter. One day you're a little son. Grows up to be a big son. Grows up to be a big daughter. Wants to get married, but she doesn't want to marry somebody in San Diego. She doesn't want to marry somebody in San Francisco. She doesn't want to marry somebody in Miami. She doesn't want to marry somebody in Gehenom, Kafakela. She wants to marry somebody that's a frum Jew, let's say in Eretz Israel. Let's say in some frum community in Bnei Brak, in Monsey, in someplace else. That's outside of your kihila. Outside of your kihila. She wants to go marry somebody in Baltimore. Okay, that's somebody in Baltimore is a real rabbi. They say, okay, well, let's see. Let's see where you come from. You look like a frum Jew. Oh, no, I was frum already my whole life. Oh, your whole life? It's good. Where's your family come from? Oh, we come from Jahannam. We come from Spain. We come from this. Oh, yeah, wow. So your father, tell me a little bit about it. Oh, no, we had to do a giyul safek because of this. Oh, giyul. Okay, can you see documents? Can you see documents? See documents. Wait, who's this clown? What is this, the UPS worker? He works for FedEx. Who's this guy? It says Bet Din next to his name, but who is this guy? No, he's the rabbi that converted my father. He's a big rabbi. He has a YouTube channel. Nobody knows who he is. Nobody recognizes this conversion. We're sorry, lady. You can use it for toilet paper. Your little daughter, little baby, comes home crying from the embarrassment she gets. She wants to kill herself. What did you do to me, Abba? What did you do to me, Ima? I was going to get married to the love of my life. A person that's frum, a tzaddik, talmid chacham, but now he saw me get embarrassed by the Bet Din, get embarrassed by the rabbis because you gave me a toilet paper that claims I'm Jewish. How can you do this to me? No, we meant well. They had a website and it was really cheap, only a few $100s. And they had a YouTube channel, and they had all types of pictures. What pictures? What embarrassment you caused me. How could you do this to me? No, but we had the DNA because our grandfather and grandmother, they left and they didn't convert to Christianity. Who cares? You have toilet paper. Toilet paper you have. You don't have a conversion certificate. Nobody cares about your DNA. Nobody cares. What are you, a transformer? Are you a RoboCop? What are you, in a movie? Who cares about your DNA? We need halacha. What's halacha? Halacha is Moshe Sinai. That's what we have. That's the reality, Rabotai. Anyone that tells you otherwise is part of the problem. And I would recommend staying away from it, or you end up being part of the stories. And perhaps one day you'll send me a very, very long email that I'm going to skim through that tells me how horrible the decision was not to listen to everything I just said now. Why? Because there's an eye that's watching everything. And that eye is not going to let any of these questionable stories, to say the least, go through the cracks. None of them. I've told you guys a story about the mamzer who didn't know he's a mamzer until after the fact. and unfortunately had to witness his lineage, get blown up in front of his eyes. His son and his grandson, baby, blown up in a car because of some gas leak. In order to make sure that Hashem fulfills the rule in the Torah, which is to eliminate the mamzerim from the world. Anyone who doesn't know that story, you could see some of the older shurim, or you could just simply ask the question. I could say the story again. I just don't want to repeat it if people know it already.